Yes, mate, back with another video. It's been a while. I know people contact me all the time saying when's your next video's coming, but please bear with me. I've got so much going on with this car at the moment. I've done loads of mods. If you see my other videos, I've done loads of mods to this car, but I've got things like upgraded headlights coming, upgraded rear lights coming. I'm in the process of doing like a crazy little mod to the center of the dash there with like a kind of multi-function digital display like a Porsche Cayenne on that. I've got loads of stuff coming for this car, so apologies to everyone who's been waiting on videos. As I say, I got loads of messages asking for them. This video is a bit of a boring one, but it's kind of one of those ones where it depends whether you want to go mad updating your car and kind of and doing crazy things to it, or whether you run into this problem. Let me kind of show you what the issue is. I ran into this problem. I say it's a problem. I don't think my guy would have noticed, my MOT guy, but this is the issue with it. If you install one of these big screens, so you've seen on my other videos, there's loads of different ones of these. There's ones with CD slots. There's bigger ones. If I installed the big one, I went for the bigger one in the end without the CD slot. It's a bigger screen, etc. It looks really good, but you lose your hazard lights. Well, you don't actually lose them. I tell a lie. If you push this button, which is the kind of volume knob, it works, right? So fine, you've got your hazard lights. But the problem in the UK is that it has to be illuminated for MOT purposes. Now, I think if you've got this system, I don't think your MOT guy will notice that. I think especially if you're like me and you're present when you do the MOTs, if he goes in and says, right, push your lights on, turn your lights on, you give him a hand, you'd push that, you wouldn't notice. But technically it fails on an MOT. This car hasn't failed an MOT on it, but it was one of those things where I don't want that being a problem if I ever come to sell a car and say, the kind of the hazard switch isn't present on the car. Well, it is present, but it's not illuminated, and therefore you're gonna have to watch out for that. So what Drimat do, again, if you've watched my prior videos, if the first time you're watching my video on one of my channels or the videos, etc., go back and see the other ones. I rate Drimat highly. It's the only place I get stuff for my cars these days. I've modified every car I've ever had. Drimat is the best company I think that I've ever bought from. With things, even like little things like this, where most companies say tough, you're on your own, because I guess a lot of countries don't have to have that mandated as having an illuminated hazard switch. They're just fine with that. Yeah, you got a hazard switch, absolutely works fine. But they're so good, Drimat. I contacted them. I was like, look, we might run into a problem here. I said, because if I have to come to sell the car, etc. And they're like, no worries, we can supply you with this. So this is what this video I'm doing is currently about. Is this upgrading this, which is the original one, to put in one with a hazard light switch on it. Now, the later model L405s have this kind of style on it. So even if you don't kind of consider this a problem at all, and you just want to update that so that you've got a nice hazard switch on the front of your dash, this is the video I'm going to show you how to do that. This is the original one. You can see it's quite simple to install, but it is kind of, I wouldn't say a faff is the wrong word, but it's obviously you're taking parts to get that out, which isn't normal. You wouldn't take these parts of your dashboard apart to when you're replacing the screen or this. So I thought I'd do a video to show you. So Drimat supplied this for me. It wasn't too much. I think I paid $100 odd for it, 140 I think it was. Drimat was weirdly, when I was contacting them about this, which is great news for anyone who watches my channel, they've obviously been watching my channel, because they asked me, they said, can we use your videos to help people such as other purchasers? So if they've got problems installing this or this or this or this or anything like that, they said, can we use your videos? And I said, yeah, I don't mind that at all. I said, but can you give back perhaps somehow? And they said, what we'll do, he said, we'll do a discount code for anyone who purchases products through. So you can use, I negotiated that with them. I hope it helps someone out there. It's a minimum of $30, but for bigger items it'll go all the way up, they said. So I bought a lot through Drimat. So again, I hope that kind of my testimony to buy direct through them is worth it alone. But you got a discount code as well. So there's a minimum spend of 200 quid on it. You use the code Drimat. I'll put it in the description. It's just simple. The company name is I think, and anyone, including myself, will then get at least $30 off from 200 on up. And if you're spending big money with them, I'm sure it'll go even higher with them. The good thing is with that as well, I said, what happens if loads of people use it? They said if loads of people use it and it's popular, to show that lots of people are buying through your videos, he said it's going to start giving me stuff at cost price, which is great, because it means it helps my channel, because I can buy more stuff, because I'm absolutely bonkers with the stuff that I upgrade on these cars. I'm sure we'll go and watch my videos. I try and upgrade everything. I don't know, it's like tickle some childhood itch that I used to do when I had my first car and just upgraded everything. It's and you're probably like me if you're watching this. So yeah, this video is to upgrade that. Likewise, It's all on there. If you aren't a subscriber already, please subscribe. I'm sure Drimat are now subscribed to my channel, which is awesome. The car is a state. I know this is not probably the best video to kind of show you. You can see the mess that's in the car at the moment. It's just full of wood. It's all stuff in here, but at least it kind of is someone who's out there who ran into this kind of dilemma themselves and said, shall I do it or not? At least this video should kind of help you. And it's quite a kind of cheap mod, or again, as you say, if you want to just kind of upgrade it for aesthetic sake. So yeah, watch the video. If you want to drop me a comment, anything like that, if you have any problems with a discount code, things like that, give me a shout. Please subscribe, give me a like, give me a share, whatever. But thank you. Yeah, let's get into it. I'll do a little unboxing and I'll kind of show you everything how to do it. Okay, just a little unboxing on this nice Drimat box as usual. And if you have a look, that's the new unit with the with obviously the button on side. You can see the difference. No button on that one. And it comes, that's it, and it just comes with one wire, which I'm guessing is going to plug into this system, I would have thought, just so you've got the functionality. That's where your obviously your hazard switch is now, whether you've got an upgraded one or not. It comes off the port that hits that. It's just one port that hits that, and that's where I think it's going to piggyback and then go straight into there. So yeah, pretty much straightforward. Okay, for this one I've done a bit of prep before the video because it was I couldn't find much online at all. There's one guy, thank you, shout out to a guy called Adrian. I think his company's called Virtuescapes. He sent me a little video that he had from China showing you how to actually take this out, because it's a bit of a strange one, right? There's not many people that actually have to do this, so it's not like it's widely known and there's a procedure for it. But thank you to Adrian for sending me that video. That's really appreciated. Basically what you need to do is take these bits of trim off to get to the bolts either side for here. You're also going to have to take this off to actually get so it actually pulls out, and rather than, there's no screws I don't think underneath there, but just so it pulls out. So the first thing you're going to want to do is open a door, take this piece of trim off. It just pulls that rubber seal, and then underneath, of course, I'm sure plenty of you have done this before, but there's that panel there. You just get a little pry bar. Let me show you just a little something like that. Just pop that off, and this side panel comes off here. It's kind of a popular thing to get to fuse boxes. I don't know if you can see the fuse box down there. There's a fuse box in there. If you need to get to that, it's quite an easy way to get to it. But yeah, that's how that panel pops off. As soon as that's done, you take these two torque screws out, one there and one there. Pull this from underneath. It's a little bit tight. Oh, I say a little bit. It's very, very minimal compared to cars of old. They're easy compared to these days. It's just a little wiggle. So yeah, that's out. And then what you need to do, drop this glove box, top glove box, and then just with that same pry bar, pry underneath here. This is quite firm, believe it or not, even though it's kind of a mesh, it's quite firm. You can put a bit of pressure on it, it doesn't bend, and that will pull out like that, which allows you to get to these two screws here for this. Likewise on this side, what you're going to need to do, it looks a mess, but trust me, it took me 2 seconds. There's a little cap underneath here. Let me show you that. This little cap here, you pick that off, just again with a pry bar, that pops off from underneath there, and underneath there is one torque screw, just one torque screw you pull out from here, and then this thing basically loosens up. I've taken this panel off because obviously you're going to have to take this off to actually remove this. Even if you haven't got an aftermarket stereo, or you've got the smaller older type, they just pop off. You can just pull your hands underneath it. If you want to use a pry bar, that's fine, but I find you just pop it with your nails and it'll actually fully come off. Then with this surround, what you got to do from the top, push it down all the way around and it'll actually come off. This surround, you don't need to pull it off fully, just pull it forward just enough. You can use this, it's quite firm. Again, it's not aluminium, but it's firm enough plastic just to get this start stop button off. This is quite a popular thing. I think people change these, they go faulty, so it's not hard to do. But you just do that one screw there, one torque screw underneath, little pry bar underneath, and you can see there, see why you have to, that little tab there, that's why you have to loosen that off. That's all you're getting off. You're just getting that tab just to kind of remove this out the way. And there, as you can see, there's 2 more screws there. So it should be just a simple case now of taking those 4 screws out and doing that. So it's a bit of a pain, I'm not going to lie. You kind of think, oh, I'm doing all this stuff just to get my hazard button working, or do you know what I mean? Just to kind of change that, to modernize that vent. But in reality, it's not too bad. That took me about 5 minutes. It's you know, once you've done it once, you're like, oh, this is kind of Lego. So yeah, hope that helps. Nice and easy on this. Those 4 screws, loosen those. Whether you've got new or old system, whatever it is, it's relatively easy to get out the way once you pull that trim off. And as I say, then it was those 4 screws, and she comes straight out there. So yeah, really easy. You can see what's behind it, plenty of space. And I'm going to put the cable down through here, I think. So this is the new unit. You're going to plug the cable into that little black port underneath there. Where is she? There. goes in there, and I'm gonna, when I'm putting that down, I'm gonna run that cable, and that's gonna go to the port in there. So yeah, really easy. Just a slight difference with these. When you look at the two of them, they almost come out the same factory. I'm pretty certain that the Range Rover or Land Rover are using Chinese parts on a regular basis for stuff like this. So they look like they came straight out the same factory. I mean, you can see the trim is spot on. Same thing with all the mechanisms and things like that. They're almost identical. But what I have noticed is when you put in this one back in, so this is the original. If you can see, this bottom clip is further back than the top one. Well, on the new one, it's not. They're kind of in line. So when you go to put them back in, you'll find that the top screws fit really easy. The bottom ones don't line up as good. You can still screw them in to make sure they're secure. I don't even think you need all 4 screws on it, but there's just something to bear in mind. You can see the difference on that one to that one there, where you can see that one's kind of stepped back. Apart from that, the build quality seems exactly the same. So I don't know if the video picks that up, but yeah, that's kind of only difference. Just beware of that when you fit in. Okay, that's all back on. Little top tip with these: when you're putting all these bits in, take the metal clips off the bit you actually fit in, push them into the holes, and then when you fit these plastic bits back, this one, even this one, is when you pull this out, this comes out here. There's one behind there. Take those metal clips and push them in the holes, and then when you actually push the panel into it, you're putting the plastic into the metal that's in the car rather than the metal clip on these bits. It just, they'll go in either way, but I find if you spend the time and, like, you know, pry them off with a bit of a pliers and stuff like that and put them back in, they sit so much better when they push in. When they actually push in, they click in more, rather than if you're tapping them in, and do you know what I mean? It doesn't seat as well. So that's a little top tip with that. It all went pretty smoothly. I found that I took the actual covers off there. It's a very slight difference with the metal covers on the original and the new aftermarket one. I took these little covers off the original one and put them back. It's very slight. I don't think you'll ever notice it. It's me just being overly kind of anal about it, but they do match. There's also, when you fit this, there's also a bit of play either side. I would try to get it bang on in the middle. I put it on once and I tightened it up, and this part here wouldn't fit back in. So when I went to fit this back in, it was a bit tight on here. It seems to be okay now, but just bear that in mind. There's a lot of play, which is good, I suppose. If you've got an aftermarket unit, you want to have that extra little play just to kind of get it seating right. The only difficult bit I would say on all of this, I mean, I fed the wire down. The wire here, I've screwed this back in, but this is the wire for it. So I'm gonna take this off now, undo this and kind of piggyback in there. That's all, you know, so it's actually connected. And the only tricky bit I would say is fitting this back here. So where I showed you before, which is the same as the video which I've seen online for it, they just you know, you just kind of unscrew that one and pull it out. I wouldn't. I would go as far as to take this screw out here and make sure when you're pulling this, the whole thing will come this way. I found that a little bit fiddly. When I put this back, there's a little clips that go up here. You have to kind of seat them into it before you kind of push that back. Once I put this part back on it, it'll kind of all tighten all back in, and it's all firm, etc. This screw back in here. That's the most fiddly bit. I took about 15 minutes doing that, but I am having a bad day, to be honest, because I'm doing another job up there on another video, and I dropped a thing that yeah, I'm having a nightmare of a day. So sometimes I get those days, but yeah, I think that's probably the most trickiest bit for it. Once this is back on, obviously they're all just, with all these bits, you just kind of tap them into place, bang with your fist, not too hardly, but hard, but when you actually pop it in, you'll feel it click, and that's effectively it. I'm going to put this, I'll show you how to do that, and then I'll show you kind of it operating, but it all seems to work. It's all just as good as factory quality. So yeah, nice little addition, and obviously then it allows you to have this bigger one. In hindsight, realistically, if I was ordering from Drimat, I would order the CD one. Not only do you get the benefit of the CD, you get a slightly smaller screen, and apparently someone said, even in a previous video when I was doing a kind of video showing you the different types, the different ones of these, where I like the bigger one because this was a kind of a rubber finish, and it was a nice tactile kind of, when you turn the knobs on it, it wasn't as plasticky as the other one. I've heard someone else has bought one of these ones with the CD one, and they said they've updated them now, and they are kind of a rubber touch to them. You can see them on there. Excuse the state of my hands because I'm doing it, but yeah, they're like that. So I personally, I wouldn't recommend this one unless you've already got it, because you have to go to the palaver of doing this. It's a lot of effort really just for this. I mean, it's still under an hour, but I think for a DIYer, unless you're kind of really set on having the bigger unit, go for the one with the CD unit with the insulated, the illuminated hazard switch on there already. Easy peasy to link this back up once you've got your screen off. It's just a Y splitter, so that's the cable coming down from the from the switch and from the new vent. Plug that in there, put it all back. It should be a good one. Yes, and there you go, all fitted back to how it was. These bigger screens are a bit trickier than the smaller screen with the CD slot to actually fit back. You've got to put 2 screws either side, so again, another little plus point for the CD slot. But if you have gone to the effort of getting one of these big screens, at least kudos to you, and you've done all this. Hope this video helps anyway. It's illuminated, as you can see. This is the car totally off, which is why it's important for MOT testing. And if you push it on there, you'll start to see that it flashes, and you get you're flashing on your hazards, which is exactly what you need. Also works with this button here, so you don't lose that functionality as well. It still flashes. You can turn that on and off if you want to. You've got 2 hazard switches, a bit of a strange way of doing it. Thank you for watching. Yeah, I've got some other videos coming up. This isn't the most exciting of videos, I must admit, but again, I hope it helps someone out there, someone like myself that fell into that predicament or wanted to go to the effort of fitting a bigger screen and then having to do this, whether to update it or just whatever. Yeah, at least it helps someone. If you aren't a subscriber, please subscribe. Thank you to everyone that always subscribes, watching my video. I do appreciate it. Drop me a comment or a like or whatever. This video is coming up soon, should be a bit more exciting than this one, so stay tuned for that. But thanks, and I hope that helped.